There was a time in my life that I would look at the horizon and see beauty, but nowadays I do it while standing on the Y-axis. Finally, we have created the world's first Vertizen. This video is about Neverness to Everness, which is a video game but is also the only 3D gacha that has done Catgirls justice. But of course, I am obligated to say that this is a sponsored video, which is why I will be telling you, objectively, what you can expect from this absolute chimera of a city managing game, so that you may bask in the glory of high saturation over stimulation. My name is Braxophone, but you can call me Brax, and aside from there being a Catgirl in Neverness to Everness, there are many reasons to play it, like there actually being 2 of them. If you've never seen or touched this game, then you're probably observing, with keen eyes, the animeification of Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Except the game doesn't allow you to commit genuinely heinous crimes on the same tier as GTA, so it's actually more like Grand bought myself a car with my hard-earned money from my day job Impact Wave 0, which is also the name of the protagonist. Well, not like the whole title, just the end part, 0. Also, you can steal cars, you just can't keep those ones. Neverness to Everness, or NTE if you want to save 4 syllables on your daily character limit, is a game about you, 0, being dropped into the middle of a citywide crisis with a complete misunderstanding of why you're there. It's basically the same thing as logging onto Twitter at any time of the day. After the crisis scenes, you end up on the really long bridge from Pokemon Black and White with a talking hand that only speaks in autotune.
The bringer of cacophony!
You eventually get to the office, join the anomaly hunters, and try to take on odd jobs that have to do with mysterious anomalies. Anomalies are essentially weird stuff. Sometimes NTE genuinely feels like a horror game. In the main story, you end up trying to figure out things like, what are anomalies? And why do they exist? Which will be answered after the next 15 years of live service. Your base of operations is an antique shop with very strange items. One of them is a house, which shrinks you down to the size of a cockroach. Finally, I can live out my giantess fantasy. After this and a slightly problematic incident, they let you off your leash and the city is your oyster. Any reasonable person would want to start progressing the game, but luckily for me, I happened to find this car I could take. You also get a credit card early on in the game because a girl named Chiz is obsessed with the idea of your credit line.
Would you like to apply for a debit card? Huh? Sorry, I don't need one.
Once you get the card, you realize that you can actually redevelop the city by completing tasks which will then allow you to build shops and improve various areas. The shops can be staffed with characters that you own as employees. The scariest part of NTE is the horror elements ranging from dark scary alley to job application. Over time, you'll be able to collect money and resources from your developed shops, and you'll be able to improve other areas of the city to allow more cosmetic and regular progression items to show up. This, of course, is explained to you in a 70-minute tutorial. Praise be to the skip button. After earning my freedom from tutorial hell, I was graciously granted the burden of free will, which I then used to commit acts of vandalism and find the nearest maid cafe. NTE overall is a game about saving the world and city development, but it's also a game about doing literally anything. It has activities for everyone, ranging from Uber driving to toxic aggressive mahjong with your elderly friends who are above the age of 30. If you can avoid the judgmental eyes of passersby while entering the maid cafe, you'll find yourself walking by a combination of maids, anime girls that are made out of cardboard, and awkward anime men. This is lore accurate, by the way. I have been to both Japan and China, and cardboard anime women are everywhere. In the cafe, called Little Sparrow, you can set up a table for a game of mahjong, which I was very excited to play, except I'm on a beta server, meaning I will literally never find another living, breathing person. But there are single-player minigames too, like races, where you'll take your best vehicle and try your best to make it from point A to point B without getting arrested for speeding. It is unlike the minigame called City Delivery, where you try your best to make it from point A to point B without getting blown up. I'm really glad that NTE has these driving game modes because it might keep horrendous drivers on the game and off the road when I'm leaving my house. 2 driving game modes is a great amount of driving challenges that they need not add on to, which is why they have a 3rd driving game mode. The 3rd game mode is essentially Crazy Taxi, except you're an Uber or Lyft driver and there's less crazy jumps. You have to race against the clock to deliver your passenger to their destination, and that means it's time to get absolutely wicked. If you hate cars and or racing, there are plenty of other minigames minigames around the city. If you're wondering how much time I spent on them compared to the rest of the game, you'll be pleased to find out that I have not even unlocked the entire map. Cars can also be customized to adjust their stats and looks, and if you pull on Natalie's banner, you can be the object of the average person's disgust. There is also fishing in this game, and while I personally don't have the gene that makes me obsessed with stick and string, I know plenty of people who do. It's actually kind of insane because I know people that will start a 60-hour-long story game just to get to the part where they can reel something in. There are also heists, which consist of you running around picking up money on desks and in drawers at a bank. Somebody should really clean this place up. The heists are decent fun because it's like a game of hide and seek where you're seeking money and a key card to get into the bank's main vault, and you are hiding from your real-life responsibilities like doing your laundry and cleaning your room. But if none of this excites you in the slightest, let me introduce you to Tetramados, which, for all intents and purposes, is Tetris PvP. This game mode single-handedly has me interested in investing over 100 hours of my life into it. When I was a young lad in secondary school, I was in a computer science class where we learned to code in Java, but the coursework was light and my friends and I usually finished it with time to spare. The smart and responsible thing to do in that situation would be to start on the homework, which is why I spent all of my spare time in that class playing Tetris online against my friends. Anyways, I queued up for it in NTE, once again forgetting that I was in a closed beta test and that the last remaining souls on Earth would not be joining me for blocky carnage. But that won't stop me from taking it out on someone else. I've spoken so much about the minigames in NTE that it is entirely possible that you, my favorite viewer, did not even know that combat was in the game. Luckily for you, my favorite viewer, I will tell you about it in exchange for you subscribing to my YouTube channel. And because there's no options to choose your own adventure on YouTube, I will tell you anyways regardless of if you subscribed or not because I have no choice. NTE's combat involves skills, attack combos, swaps, QTE, elements, dodges, and basically everything you've already seen before. If you've played any action combat game before, you can pick up NTE without problems. Though this game has elemental reactions, like many gacha players, I am also illiterate and have no idea what any of them do. But though I am illiterate, I am not blind, for I see many beautiful characters in front of me. The vibrant visuals of NTE also apply to their characters, and my brain, deprived of stimulation every second I'm not scrolling TikTok or locking in with my Fortnite duo, feels entirely satisfied. That's without mentioning the incredible assets they provide. There are also many skins available for characters, and some of them are completely free-to-play obtainable, meaning that you can indeed look dripped the f*** out making $0 a year. Character progression in NTE is like many other gacha games where you collect items to level characters up and the items take stamina to collect. It's a very familiar gameplay loop that's only broken up by a couple key differences in NTE, like the gear system, where in order to equip gear, you must fit your character's unique shape with all of the Tetris-like blocks. It leads to some interesting gear and stat spreads, and leaves options for future sets to be added to buff past characters with specific configurations. All of this is to say that at least your RNG stat blocks are going to feel a little bit different this time. One of the best features of NTE's character progression system is how they deal with character copies, where instead of you progressing node to node, gaining one buff at a time in a specific order so that way they can rig you completely drive all your money for a crit rate buff, you can actually choose which buff characters get of the 6 options. You can also swap them at any time, so it's a lot more free-to-play friendly, at least in that aspect. Any option can be selected, and the only ones you can't choose are the 2 extra buffs guaranteed at 3 and 6 copies, which I don't think will be terribly hard to get considering NTE doesn't have a character 50-50. And now, it is time to let you in on one last secret about this cat girl collecting game. This game's gacha is easily the most fun I've had spinning a virtual slot machine. When you gacha, it puts you on a game board, and every gacha pull you do is a roll of the dice. You can literally see the pieces moving around the board, and the S-rank spot is also visible, which gamifies the whole experience and makes you want to stick around for every single roll. There is a pity of 90 and a soft pity that starts at 70. The odds of getting an S-rank are over double what competing games are offering at the moment, and you don't have to worry about losing a 50-50. While it is arguably exceedingly more addicting than other gachas on the market due to being a fun minigame, free-to-play players will be foaming at the mouth over how good the rates are and no 50-50. NTE still is in beta though, and the rates could change entirely, so do with that information what you will, and I will continue to collect cat girls on this Mario Party minigame. If you're still here watching this video, I have no idea how you made it this far, but what I do know is that Hathor's ass is burned into my retinas. Neverdis to Everdis is an absolute fever dream of a game with a mishmash of fun gameplay and customization, which is why I will be awaiting its full release so that way I can play Tetramados.